not a good story, but I'll tell it.
Hey, Scott here is going to tell a traumatic story.
I have gossip.
I don't know if trauma is involved, but go ahead and
Uh,
tell your story.
it's just one of those things about how I've had this streak of bad luck lately with people not returning emails, and it's starting to annoy me. Uh, the I'll tell you the first one. I uh, I think I've mentioned, and you know this, Ellis, but I think I've mentioned on the show before. I've known for years. I've known CB Cebulski over Marvel,
Right.
and we exchange. We don't email as much as we used to because he's busier. But we email each other occasionally, or typically he'll email me occasionally if something bad. When something happens in Oklahoma, like a tornado, he'll text me and be like, "Are you okay?" Or but for the most part, I'll email him and he'll email me back, and
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, it's not like every other month. Even every maybe 6 months or so, and I sent him an email to see how things were going. But I mentioned up front that my father had passed away, and I hadn't heard back from him. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It's like
Yeah. Uh-huh.
it's just like I mean,
Well, I know my own. Thank God, social media is a different thing than real life. Because when someone tells me they've lost somebody, man,
yeah.
it can take me about 30 minutes to compose what I consider as a worthwhile reaction to something that big. So I
Yeah,
mean, it's one of those things where it's like,
and
okay, man, that's heavy. What can you say other than, man, I'm sorry to hear that. I guess that should be the immediate thing, and if that's as deep
well, that
as you
wasn't
go, that's all right. But
the thrust of my email by any means. I mean, I was telling him about the comic and some other things going on, but I figured with that in there that I would get some kind of and it's just like nothing, and
mhm.
I told
Well, again, the nothing might be entirely based on that little bit of news in it. He just didn't know
maybe
what to say.
maybe it's just like
It challenges a person to me. It does.
oh,
I'm that person that's challenged by it
well,
though. If
and
if I was like you, and every Sunday I was in church, and every Sunday was all about being,
ready for the end.
yeah, ready, social, and understanding that you're all there, and life is,
Fleeting.
yeah, it's not only fleeting, but most of it is kind of tough. That it is not, joy is a little bit of it. Most of it's kind of hard. you know
Well, I mean, I would, yeah, okay. Well, don't get me wrong. I would completely agree that um, uh, being a religious person, we'll put it that way,
hmm
or whatever, probably prepares you for some of this stuff. And
well,
certainly,
mainly being social with
yeah, that's what I was
just
gonna say.
the thing.
Well, so here's the thing. So I'll tell you what I told one of my because one of my coworkers or one of my employees told me I don't. They told me they don't have very many friends, and I was kind of appalled by that. And they said, well, I don't I have trouble making friends, which I mean, me. I mean, I you could. I mean, I'll make a friend at the library. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm a different. He's different than me, and I
hmm
acknowledge that some people are different personalities. But also what I said to him is I said, well, if 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 you don't go where people are, you're not going to make friends.
Yeah.
You have to be. It's like one of the someone two of my employees have expressed to me just kind of their lack of dating material and how
hmm
depressing it is, and I'm like, well, if you're a reasonable person, it's probably just you're just not where people are. The dating
Yeah,
material
well,
is not
yeah, that's the whole point of putting you in school around
around the age
all
of
that sex. Yeah,
yeah
I mean, it's like all those sex hormones and all that. That was supposed to set you on your way to getting mated up. You
yeah.
know.
You got to procreate and
Yep.
propagate the species, or else we're all screwed. But so I mean, yeah. So I would agree with that probably, and I think you would agree my social skills are superior to yours, and part of that is I'm around a lot more people than you are.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. It is a confidence and practice thing.
well, and I'm with me. My job is so I got to deal with people all day. So of course, some people it doesn't matter. I mean, we know we have a mutual friend. I won't say his name, but he's not a very social person, and he should be because he's in a profession that almost requires it, and he just doesn't have that in his DNA. He just don't want to be bothered to talk to people. It's more of an inconvenience for him. But anyway, so that was one thing, and part of this is I've I've been kind of, and I've expressed this on the show, kind of been in, I don't want to say a funk, but kind of been in this, I don't know what to do now that my comic is done kind of
Hmm.
mode, and I've kind of worked on stuff. And I think I told you, I'm taking a week off work the first week in June, right after Memorial Day. And I want to work on stuff. I'd like to work on a comic or something, but it just doesn't. I don't know what the deal is, and
Well, you at this point, you'll have to come down in comparison to what you felt like you always in the back of your mind was that it was guaranteed what you were up to.
yeah,
Now
yeah,
now you'd have to go back to some of these projects that are like what you had been working before, which is tended to be kind of like it's kind of sketchy. Okay,
yeah,
you tell me it's not going to be put out. Okay, well I guess I can rack it up to experience. Okay, you know
well,
you don't want too many of those.
no, and I've had too many of those, like
Yeah,
10 years worth of that probably, and
yeah.
it gets you nowhere. And and I don't, the sad thing is I don't even really care about. I don't want to say I don't care about the money so much, but it 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 needs to be something that's going somewhere. That's the thing,
Hmm.
and that's what's hard to acquire. But anyway, so that was so I emailed CB, and I felt like it would have been nice to have kind of a something about oh, I'm glad your comic coming out. I'm sorry your dad passed away. Something.
Hmm.
Uh, I haven't got a response. I sent it a few days ago. He
Well,
and I
he's probably pretty impressed with it being that what is it, Source Point, and it's like what is the other big thing? There's some sort of big umbrella company that it's now
well, they
part of.
deal. Well, okay. First off, I'm not sure if he's impressed as such, but they're doing I think it's Penguin or Simon Schuster or something. They signed a deal with
Uh huh.
maybe Simon and Schuster.
Yeah, it was something
Anyway,
big. I mean, it sounded big to
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah, but I think it's the same company that Marvel signed a deal with actually.
Aha. Maybe
So
that
that
was
may
it. He has to get you to sign NDAs any time in the future he wants to send you an email.
maybe so. Well, it's funny. I don't know if you know who
NDAs.
Ryan's,
Go ahead.
but he uh, he got into Marvel. Um, it's funny because the cons I always do that. How'd you break into Marvel? He broke into Marvel because he was working. He had been hired to draw, and I forget who. It was some fantasy book series, and he was drawing the adaptation of it. And Marvel ended up buying the book series, and so
Mm-hmm.
as a result, he got hired on at Marvel, kind of grandfathered in at Marvel, and or not. Anyway. He got hired at Marvel, and I had met him at Chicago. I think it was C2E2, not Wizard World, but he had just gotten hired at Marvel, and they were having him do and apparently they liked his art, and he did the rest of the series that they were going to put out, and so then they were having him do he did some miniseries, but they were having him do like not advertising art, but product. What do you call
Mm-hmm.
that? Promotional kind of art until they could find something for him to work on. So I mean, who knows? Maybe something like that will happen. But the anyway, so that was that. Well, then the other thing was I'd reached out to I don't want to say her name, but a Marvel has a talent relations department, and
Mm-hmm.
at least two people that I know of that are in there, both of which I've emailed extensively. And so I and one of them was this girl that I mean, we emailed. I mean, we would email quite a bit about all just random things. And I mean, in fact, I looked in my email because I was trying to find her email. I couldn't remember her last name, and so I searched through my email, and it popped up, and it said, in 2018, you exchanged 37 emails with and I was like, oh, okay, so
Mm-hmm.
this is not something that I sent an email to, and anyway, so I kind of just reached out to her with some questions about basically this idea of if you do a small press book, what's the how what would be her advice for someone that was working in the small press that maybe wanted to move up the ladder, so to speak, and I
Mm-hmm.
asked a few kind of specific questions, and that was Monday, and I hadn't heard anything back either from her, and so it's like, well, I don't know. It's just a depressing. It'd be nice. Like I said, it'd be nice to hear back from somebody, about something. You know.
It just shows you got to be careful who you hang out with. I'm I'm I'm
Poison.
I'm poison for all these relationships.
Well,
Well, I sure
anyway.
have been working hard at being that way on Twitter. I tell you, I don't know why. You know what that is, though, and someone expressed it perfectly. It's because you get to have your say. There is a great desire to have a say about
Oh,
stuff, and that's why you get on there and, like me, make a fool of yourself. And in terms of like proclamations, things you got no expertise on, but are willing to say why you think this way or that. Gene Hole has checked in with us. Some big jerk. So did Flyfox Pro earlier. Everybody's talking about their investments in crypto, which Scott Adams this
really?
morning was talking about Ethereum, and he was doing this weird tangent where he was talking about what do you call it when you say what you want something to happen and you make it's kind of like an Oprah kind of thing. You just think about it and it comes
Oh,
to
yeah.
pass because you think of it
You
so
make it.
much. What? What is that called?
I don't.
The wish or whatever, but
I,
it's that sort of thing you can think
it's the secret.
positively. Obviously, the secret maybe. Yeah, well, that sort of concept.
The secret.
But he was talking about trying to and of course he believes or says he believes in this wacky idea that he's in a simulation, and so
Oh,
he was trying this out of just like willing some big cash money just to come his way, just to try out the power of his his telekinetic powers. And all of a sudden he remembers that he's got this investment. He was in on the ground floor in this crypto called Ethereum, and he was in for a few $1,000s. Of course, he's a millionaire, so when he says a few thousand, he may have put about 10,000 on it, but it's worth about 300K now. So,
oh geez.
So all of a sudden you look down and you say, "Hey, I am in a simulation. Look, all I have to do is declare how I want the programming to go, and it goes that way."
Well, now hang on. That kind of worked for you last week because you were saying you said I need to do more work. I could get as much of this work as I wanted to, and apparently you're busy with something.
Yeah, I just got busy with having to do. Oh, well, here's the assignment. I said on Twitter right before I started, 12-year-old African American boy from the late 80s, 11-year-old Asian boy. So all these characters that I'm going to be doing what are called tokens of, little mini portraits.
Right.
I get this assignment right as Twitter is just loaded up with people going to jail for child porn. And it's like, I don't want to be searching for 11 and 12-year-olds for a reference right now. But, I need it because, for one thing, it's hard to draw youth. You gotta have it right in front of you to realize what's going on, about what makes somebody young. What's that?
That's the hard lesson Marvel Comics is learning. It's hard to draw youth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's hard to draw youth into your audience.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh, no, you got to leave everything out is part of it. They got to have big eyes. Of course, if I was more anime kind of oriented, I'd probably find it pretty easy.
Yeah, because
the big eyes and basically it's just a couple little flicks down that give you all your features pretty much in anime.
Yeah.
I've got this in front of me. I haven't even cracked these. I've cracked Chew the most. I saw it. Now Chew, this has got nothing to do with that cannibal thing, does it? Or does it? Is this the one that's famous for being is it?
Yeah, it's
okay.
Well,
Chew. So it's two different spellings. Chew and Chew.
I bought the first trade somewhere really cheap, and I was underwhelmed with it. I don't think I even finished reading it.
I was struck by this page here. See that bottom panel? It's like that's almost like a class in character design where he said, "Okay, all these people have this distinctive silhouette." So it is good, though. I mean, go ahead.
I checked out a book called Character Design Quarterly from the library. You ought to check it. I think you would appreciate it more than I do.
Who's it? Who is featured in it?
I don't know. People you never heard of.
Okay.
People that designers for video games and stuff.
Might have heard of one or two of them. Of course, it's been like 12, 15 years since I was in games.
Yeah, and they're all females, third year age, if that.
Oh yeah, I know. That was my big missed opportunity. I should have tried to marry a real attractive Asian girl while I was in video games.
Well, then you could have a great ex-wife.
Yeah, you think she'd instantly get rid of me? Probably.
No, I just think I don't know that going into it with that attitude is.
sounds a little predatory, doesn't it? Or something.
Exactly.
Sounds wrong.
Something. Well,
Oh, I see. This is
but
kind of gory. It is. He does some kind of cool stuff, but you can tell he's using the tool of digital to get away with this and that.
oh, is he?
Yeah, and just in
I
terms of like repeating this over and no. I mean, it's
that,
really good though. I mean, I'm impressed by it.
that stuff jumps out at me so much. It just smacks of laziness. You know,
No, leaving stuff out
not
requires.
leaving stuff out. Using digital repeats.
Yeah, well,
Depending on what it is. Depends on what it is. I'll
yeah.
give you an out.
No, I can tell what I'm looking at right now. Here's you start at
It's
the top of your food
like
chain is composition, and this guy is
yeah,
good at composition. And when you talk about panels, what he leaves out in a panel, you're only supposed to be looking at about one thing per panel. So anybody that is loading their panels up with a bunch of extraneous
I
crap is losing
I dis
the
I disagree with
panel.
that.
What's that?
Disagree. Your statement about you should only load your panel with one thing per panel.
I mean,
I
one
uh,
important thing should be the most important thing in your
there,
panel.
yeah, there should be a focus, but to me, you would want to. My idea is you'd want to layer it with interesting stuff so that the reader lingers on the page. But I mean, it's a different approach. It just depends on what your approach is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. S. Clay
You
Wilson
have to.
layered his panels up with interesting things. Yeah, I mean, you can
Well,
take an
yeah,
approach. You can have each panel as telling a million stories in it if that appeals to you. And
yeah. I mean,
it does appeal to some people. I mean, to load up, I think Aragonés, Gru. He liked
sure.
very very active telling and all his stuff that he did for Gru the Barbarian. But
Yeah.
I bet a
Well,
guy could study that stuff and have a reveal to him that he's only got one really big important thing per panel that he wants you to look
well,
at.
I just remember when I was a kid, and I would and the stuff that I would study for hours and really fall in love with was stuff that had the main action, of course, or whatever was going on, but maybe it had some other action in, or there was a lot to look at. A guy
Hmm.
like maybe not to the extent of like a Jeff Darrow, because I think he's a little overkill on it, but I mean certainly like a John Byrne or George Perez or
Hmm.
you
Yeah,
know
I was looking at a guy that I just couldn't believe how cool the vignette was on what he had done. It was just, and now I can't remember where it was. It impressed me. Now I can't bring it back. Yep. And of course, I mean, every panel, they can't all be winners. I mean, you get a
oh
crowd
sure
shot, and the writing says, you got a crowd shot of a bunch of people sitting around a table. And it's like, oh man, I'm uh I'm so bored just before I even start, and having to combat that boredom of
yeah but
what that means to you of saying, oh, sitting around the table, huh? It's like
you can do it
yeah, you
like
can do it, but it takes effort to this is
where
cool.
they're sitting around a table, like the Last Supper, where
Yeah,
you can come
exactly.
in, like this.
Hmm. Very interesting.
You
Yeah.
know,
Well, I probably, I doubt if I read that. I think all I wanted, I mean, I'm sure the writing must be good, or it wouldn't be a fan favorite, wouldn't be getting this kind of treatment and all that. But that little walkthrough I did, This can go right back to the library. I absorbed. I looked at it. I see what he's doing. He's doing things with just straight up great little gesture and like this. Oh well, it is atypical. That's a guest piece of art. Yeah, interesting. And then of course the guy that. How does Brubaker crack the whip on Sean Phillips to the extent that he must to get as much as he's got out of this guy? And you know we're talking about and we're talking about. I said that idea of you know not every panel is going to be just a masterpiece, but Phillips goes to the trouble. Everything is you know pretty solid, referenced and everything for what he's up to per panel.
Oh yeah.
Even though you know I look at all this and it's like you know it's got to get loose and you know it just has to in terms of like the speed he's got to put it out at. No, I say that, but this is beautiful. I'll be looking forward to reading this. See, I'll read this one. I'll return this one tomorrow. Got to read it. Who was that? Oh, you know, Barry shared something with me. Have you read that thing that's based on, some guy that had a big, very public blowout with someone at a con and may have actually struck someone? Oh, it's about someone that has worked for somebody and stole some of their art, and the artist is still alive, and he's still got it in the back of his mind that art is out there. He's a bad alky, and I forget who it's supposed to be. Now I'm gonna look up Brubaker on the internet right now so I can tell you which comic I'm talking about.
Oh, it's a bigger comic, isn't it?
What's it called?
I can't remember.
Okay. I'll find it.
I think I remember Barry talking about this.
Oh, it was good because I don't know if it's supposed to be like reminiscent of Alex. It may be supposed to be reminiscent of Alex Toth, maybe. No. Well, yeah, it was supposed to be reminiscent of Toth having worked with somebody. Okay, now I got to find it. Bibliography. Okay. It sounds like a Vertigo. Let me look. Nope, that ain't it. Marvel Comics. Image. Fatale, Velvet, The Fade Out. Let me check that one. The Fade Out. Maybe. Dark Horse. Let me look at this. Burning Man. Burning Man. I know who did that. April 1991. That was Jeff Ranjo. That was kind of cool. Way back in '91. It was only like 2 or 3 pages, and all it was about these kids that witnessed a guy at a construction site that caught on fire, and it stunned all of them because they watched a guy probably die right in front of their eyes. And then it ends with the last panel, guy sitting on his bed with a thought balloon saying, "But we all agreed it was probably about the coolest thing we ever saw."
Yeah.
That's the dang low life. Oh man, we're really dating then. 1995. I remember those years. See,
on the
Brubaker was actually in our little Tuesday art group back then. Kinda. He never drew though. He was just he hadn't hit yet. He was trying to get everybody to notice him with his writing. Dang it. It's in there somewhere. Oh well. Just read it. I'll look at my hard drive. How about that? Hey, are you there, Scott? And now I got to go back and check on. There he is.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Okay,
here.
okay.
And you were. I was going to say you're talking about them seeing the guy burning up. That reminds me of John Byrne has said the first time he saw. I don't know if it was the monks that immolated themselves.
Uh-huh. Self-immolation.
When yeah, when he was whenever it was in the 60s or whatever, he was fairly young, and his first thought was, "That's what the Human Torch looks like."
Yeah. Yeah, I still remember that guy being able to sit still for that. It's like I think I've read since then they probably had him a little doped up because that gasoline burns really hot. It hurts just immediately.
Yeah,
If you can set yourself on fire with wood alcohol and it doesn't hurt too bad, but you set yourself on fire with gasoline, it makes you jump pretty quick.
well, you
It
don't
burns
realize
hot,
how
as they
flammable
say. What's that?
you know you know you know gasoline's flammable, but you don't realize it until you try and use it to start a fire.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
ran out of
yeah. Don't ever use that
lighter.
stuff.
Oh no, it's
Yeah, don't.
horrible. I ran out of lighter fluid one time, and we were going to charcoal, and I thought, well, I'll just I had gasoline for the lawnmower, and I thought, well, I'll just put a little bit of that in there, and and I
Yeah.
knew it would. I mean, I didn't like pour a bunch on and fireball the city like Homer Simpson, but
Yeah.
I was not prepared. I put a little bit, not even a teaspoon or
Uh-huh.
tablespoon, whichever one's. But I mean, it made a big fireball, and it didn't burn. It all burned off, and it didn't
Yeah,
set the
yeah, yeah.
truck
It
on fire.
burns hot and quick. It is basically explosive.
Right.
It
That's why
design
that's
it puts
why
its energy out all at once. Yeah.
I, that's and I know enough about cars that I should have known that, but until you see it, you're not.
Hmm.
Yeah. My mom, because of my parents have a farm, uh, they don't live on it, but they have farmland, and occasionally we would go out and burn stuff, and mom always used diesel to burn it because I guess diesel won't
Yeah.
doesn't have that big explosive
Oh yeah. It
bang.
takes some effort to get diesel to burn. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's slower burning, and it burns
Hmm.
good for that. I'm not recommending any of this to any pyromaniacs out
Oh yeah.
there either.
Stay away from fire. Yeah, yeah.
No, I used to work with a guy that was in a car that exploded, and he had horrible burns. His face
Yeah.
wasn't burned, but like his hands and his arms were pretty burned up, and he was fully recovered, and he looked really rough, you know. And so it's like, oh, you don't want to you don't want to be on the back end of any of that. So yesterday, Michelle, I don't know if I told you yesterday. Michelle had surgery on her hand. She had a cyst on her hand
Yeah.
that
How'd
they
that go?
recommended she. It went fine. We were there for like 30 minutes. Well, we had to be there at 5:30, so that was fun, But it reminded me of catching a plane to go on vacation, which I haven't done in a while. So, but it went fine. We were there for about 30 minutes. Well, once they took her back, it was only about 30 minutes. I did a lot of drawing while I was waiting, and I'd taken the whole day off, and then we went. We had some errands to run, and my mom came over and went with us. Oh, we had to take my cousin's rent check by because I don't know if you knew we do that because she doesn't drive, so we got to take her check by her. She'll get kicked out of her apartment. But
Hmm.
uh, anyway, so we did that, and then we went to the Chinese grocery store and we ate Chinese food at a place, um, pretty good place on Classen, and then I came home. I spent way too much time over the past couple of days buying stuff on eBay.
Well, that can be very diverting. And it's useful every now and then. I've been wanting a Wacom tablet, but it's like, nah, I'm getting by. And of course, right now it'd be really nice to have just something that was, a dreamy touch on the old tablet, the way I used to have back when I was working and people were supplying all my hardware. But
Do you want a Wacom or into? What do you? I mean, what do you want? An Intuos or a Cintiq or what?
I don't want the Cintiq and the projection screen and all that. I've decided my instinct is for, and this guy named Boro Dante that I watch a few of his tutorials every now and then. He talks about that he is he went through just about every iteration of working on screen tablets and
Yeah,
has finally come back to his favorite little Wacom type tablet because of posture. He's just straight up and down
yeah,
looking at his computer screen in a chair, and it's and
yep,
I always had that instant connection with my flat screen and the screen in front of my eyes. I'm looking at my
yeah. I
delay.
never, I never. I know a lot of people that have tried to switch to draw comics digitally, and if they haven't worked on computers, they struggle if they don't because what they struggle with that hand-eye coordination of my hand is not. I'm not watching my hand move like when you like now. I'm watching my
Yeah,
hand,
yeah, you're
but
yeah, and they feel like they need that, and it allows them to hunker over on a drawing like they ordinarily would. Yeah.
yeah, I think that if you come out of like I did, using Adobe Illustrator or any computer program where you have a mouse and you're drawing with the mouse, you don't miss that. You don't have that,
Hmm.
you know. Now I like drawing. I like drawing analog. I don't like drawing digitally, but that's more. There's more to it than just the. I don't like the way that the results I get. So
Hmm.
you know I have never got a digital. I've never drawn digitally a comic where I've been like, okay, this is what I want it to look like,
Hmm.
and my hand, I don't know if I got there, but I've gotten close. You know,
Well,
I
hasn't
feel
the
like,
only time you did it the time I remember when you were working on that tablet of that break open tablet that had some sensitivity that allowed you to work on it? What was it? What was that tablet called?
oh, what brand was that? Asus. I had an Asus tablet. Still have it up in the
Yeah,
cabinet there, and it's
that thing. I think anybody had been challenged to work on that thing with the way you were trying to. Uh, you need to, digital is out there to, you know, exploit. Uh, you you could speed up. Well, I say that, I would probably always do my thumbnails and stuff as a pencil drawing first. It's just comfortable, and plus, the messes you made make kind of plus what you're up to sometimes. So, but some people are that way with their digital work. They're going along making big messes as they go, and I you can tell that from watching little draw alongs or tutorials. It's like, oh, that guy's just looking for some happy accidents there. That's the way you do it. And of course, digitally, there's like, why not? You can for one thing, you've got undo on those. The thing
yeah,
I was feeling like I was having a breakthrough recently on working with Photoshop and painting. Uh, so it's good to have another in world commission right now. Of course, those will just be quick studies.
yeah. Well, hey, making extra money is always good. At least that's
Yeah, and
been my
that's the only time
experience.
I'm drawing. It seems like it's like, okay, if you'll pay me, I'll draw, and that's not the way
Uh,
you should be. You need to, you need to be drawing every day.
oh, absolutely.
Kevin Strange and Natasha. Natasha talks about God. her Lady Death digital comic. Now, is this a update or are you just catching up on Lady Death? Is from the old when I remember the series coming out. I never read it all. That's the what's his name?
Brian Paluto. Brian Paluto.
Okay.
What?
I was thinking it was
What?
some famous writer like oh, what's his name? The guy that wrote Coraline. What's his name? Neil Gaiman. Is it not Neil
Nope.
Gaiman? Lady Death?
No, you're thinking of Death.
Okay,
From the
well, okay,
Sandman.
okay. So someone has got close to something I know what I might vaguely know what I'm talking about. Okay, good.
Lady Death is Brian Paluto, I believe. And I never read it, but it was big in the '90s, I believe,
Hmm.
and Brian Paluto has revived it with Kickstarters, and he's or maybe Indiegogos, some sort of crowdfunding, and it's just been really successful crowdfunding. I mean, probably the most, other than maybe some of the like Ethan Van Sciver stuff, it's been the most successful crowdfunding stuff. And he does like a couple a year. I mean,
Did he just
so
plop himself down with the pitch for this is what's coming and this is what it'll look like, and then get that kind of response because of his name, or does he constantly stream to where everybody's watching him and
I
know
don't think,
what he's up to and all that?
I don't think he streams.
Okay.
Could be, you'd have to look, I don't know. I don't know what his secret sauce is
Yeah, well,
other
no,
than a
no. It
lot.
is always interesting to know what other people are up to.
Well, and even when, I mean, he was even, in the '90s, he was very successful with it,
Well, yeah,
you
that's a
know.
big part of why he would get that uh, quick, quick major support is like, well, I remember this guy. He's good.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely came into it with a built-in audience of some sort,
Hmm.
you know. But yeah, they're. I don't know if he's done videos, but some of the Comicsgate people have done videos about what he does. I've seen people's videos kind of trying to analyze his success.
Speaking of
You know
Comicsgate people, I should go grab them so I can
what?
because I really appreciated it the other day when Nasser kind of like did a signal boost of me on showing my
Oh,
books when he pulled them out. Let me run and get them. They're just in the living room. You know how long that'll take me to get there and back. Won't take but a second.
30-minute hike for Ellis to get to his living room.
Let me mute myself.
He's paranoid that I can hear myself talking now. A few weeks ago, I mentioned to Ellis that when he was gone, I could hear myself, and it was his headphones being picked up by his microphone, and so I successfully made Ellis paranoid, which is not very difficult, by the way. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know the how Paludo did the secrets of his success. I just know he was very successful, or he has been very successful with his Kickstarters. So, anyway. Well, that page is full. I think Ellis did get lost. He must be looking for him. So, at the end of the month, I'm taking a artist sabbatical where I take a week off work and just spend it all drawing. And I got about this much left in this sketchbook, and I'm trying to finish it, which is maybe a dozen pages. I'm trying to finish it before I got like 2 weeks without just, blowing through a bunch of stuff. Trying to fill it, legitimately fill it. I don't like wasting any part of a sketchbook. I draw on the front and back of both pages and all that jazz. But Boy, Ellis did get lost. He must not be able to find those books.
Hey,
Anyway,
I've unmuted myself. Hey, I don't know. I was gone longer than expected because I've got no idea what I did with those things. They're around here somewhere. It's
hey, don't feel bad. I for a mechanical pencil I'm missing. So
yeah. Oh well, man, that can ruin my day. Searching for something I know I own. That'll just
yep.
occupy me for hours. Yeah.
Well, at a certain point, okay. So this will tell you how wacky I am. I one of the things I bought on eBay was a pencil. It's a lead holder like this, but it's a Faber-Castell lead holder. And the one I bought, I think the one I bought is from the 50s, but it's identical to the one that John Byrne used up until 2001. He had one that his dad gave him when he went to, I guess, to art college or whatever. He was like 20, so he used it for all of his professional career up to 2001. So all those X-Men and all that stuff, he used this particular lead holder, and it broke on him, and he put a picture of it online. I found one identical on eBay, and so I bought it just because I thought it'd be cool to use.
Sure. Like it
Anyway,
gave out from metal fatigue or something. What?
the spring side of it broke, he said. So
See,
you
I'm
know,
already drawing too.
mine, yeah. Well, the one that I found looks like it's in much better shape than his. So
I'm supposed to
doubt
I'm
it.
supposed to draw a girl that looks like that 11 on Stranger Things or Strange Things.
Oh yeah,
Stranger Things, I think. Did you watch any of that?
that's a yeah. I had the first season on Blu-ray. I enjoyed the first season, and somebody
Yeah,
lent me the second season, and it really did. It just wore thin,
yeah,
you
oh
know.
yeah, oh very thin. The kids got too big for one thing. You know,
Yeah.
these kids weren't. Not all of them were set to be attractive. And of course, 11 was playing younger than she was, so she was probably the more mature talent there. And of course, she's gone on to be the only one able to use her talents. I think. I don't think the
Oh,
rest of them do anything
yeah.
else.
I, I know she's done some other stuff.
Godzilla,
Um,
stuff like that. I mean, yeah.
oh
Oh,
God,
yeah. She's been so and so Holmes. She's Sherlock Holmes' niece, which was a cute little show. I
oh
watched it.
yeah.
Enola
Guess I hadn't
Holmes
seen
or something like that.
Nola Holmes. Okay, okay. That's cool. Uh, I you know what that reminds me that reminds me of. Did you ever watch Heroes when it came out?
It starts strong and you go,
Oh my gosh,
this stuff is
it's
off the
so
rails.
good.
Lost, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, never watched Lost. I never could get into that. I'm not a super big TV watcher. I
Uh,
think I told you I have picked watching The Sopranos again though.
yeah. Good old
On H.
walnuts. Polly Walnuts is the guy that cracks me up. I always liked that one where I wondered if they were going to pay off with it, but they fairly often didn't pay off with stuff. And when Walnuts retrieves that big portrait, that equestrian
Oh yeah.
portrait of Tony, and it's like, what are they gonna do with that thing? What kind of embarrassment is this going to lead to with him owning that? But no, it's just a matter of he just couldn't let it go to waste. And of course, he's going to get rid of it because he's looking at it and realizes, I don't want Tony looking at me from every angle in the room, basically.
Well, Tony saw it at one point,
He didn't see it at Paulie's
over
house.
Yeah, yeah, he did.
He did. I don't remember that. He saw it in
He
Paulie's
went,
house.
yeah, he went over to his house and he saw him and he's like, "I thought I told you to get rid of that."
I guess it cost a lot of money. Yeah, yeah.
Well, and he had it painted, or I forget. It was like, was he dressed like Napoleon, or was he
Well,
was just a portrait?
he's dressed like a lawn jockey, if I remember right, something like that. He's dressed in my old Kentucky
I,
home kind of gear
well, didn't
with
Polly
silks.
have it didn't Polly have it touched up to where he was dressed like Napoleon?
I don't know. I don't think he did. Did he? Maybe.
I
Now all the details.
yeah,
Well, see, that would be significant if he had him some way
yeah, modified.
editorialized. Yeah, I'd have just draw faces and try to make them all young for practice. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, the fact that they consider me a kind of a go-to guy when they've got a lot of stuff to do that has a short deadline. It's like, oh, okay. I I thought it showed that I don't put much effort into these things. But no,
Well,
no,
like,
that's great.
sell yourself short on some of this stuff,
Yeah, yeah,
Ellis.
yeah,
I mean, they would not use you if they didn't like your work.
yeah. Oh, the last one I did was, like I say, I felt like breakthroughs are coming. I'm going to try to make everything a little bit of a painting from now on. Even these things, I think I'll just go ahead and say, okay, there's a drawing, and now let's make it into a painting. You know, just go ahead and take the next step.
So
Use the
the
Riley
color,
method. Yeah, don't do a
yeah,
colored drawing. Oh, you know what? I found this piece of trivia. Uh,
yeah.
but the piece of trivia I wanted was how much James Bama was paid per Doc Savage illustration. I'd like to know that. Just you know, be fun to know. Because he had to have been paid top dollar for that era. Because everybody knew at that time what sold those paperbacks. It's like the art on covers, Frazetta, all those guys. You paid them for basically moving the units because you could watch your sales
So
drop
did you find
off.
out?
I never did find that out, but I found out a piece of trivia about Bama. I didn't know that, it wouldn't have surprised me to learn he had been trained in the Riley method, but no, he learned directly from Frank Riley. He was a student. So, so that's kind of interesting. It's like, it just shows you how important that guy was to a certain era of illustrators. You know,
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that.
yeah. Well, that's kind of fun. Of course, she doesn't lie. She's 12. Oh, another thing that happened today that was really cool. I forget how much it would cost me to get the Mr. Motos. The first one is only $40. The Mr. Moto Volume One, the first four films. But the next one must be out of print or something because it's like worth like $150 or something like that. It's like I'm not paying that for these old 1 hour long movies. And
I think those are
they're
those on
they're
Prime.
I believe they're on public domain. No, I've looked on Prime and they aren't there. But
Oh,
they are public domain, I
yeah.
believe. And I found them all on YouTube or one other place. All of them were on YouTube. So there we go. I
Okay.
got all of them, and that's all anybody has to do is go make a playlist. You've got all the Mr. Motos, and some are wildly good prints.
Oh, really? That's kind of
Hmm.
funny on YouTube.
Yeah. Some of them are about what you'd expect.
Well, dude, it's 8 o'clock.
Oh, have we already been at it that long? Okay,
We've
yeah,
been-
we started a little bit late. We didn't have much interaction with our audience. That's never a smart idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you ready to wind it down to 54 minutes? We have
Yeah.
been at it 55 minutes.
Gotcha. Yep. Oh, hang on. I know
Okay.
what you mean by taking a week. I took a week off playing Breath of the Wild and to recharge my batteries. Yeah, I've done this before because of the way that my work schedule is. I can get a lot of time off around Memorial Day and not use a lot of hours, but I have a ton of hours of vacation. At the end of the year, I'll have 440 hours of vacation, so I need to take some time off anyway. But I like taking off and spending the day drawing. I usually try and have a project I'm working on, maybe work on in the morning, maybe in the afternoon, go out and find a place to draw at the library, at the museum, downtown, whatever. Um, yeah, I find that kind of a cool way to spend a staycation. I didn't do it
Mhm.
last year because of the pandemic, and there was no place to go. Every place I wanted to go was closed.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do it this year, and more places are open. So, yep, it's fun.
Yeah. Hey, if NASA ever, no, who checks into these things? Yeah, I wish I had found those books before we checked out, but that's all right. I'll find them eventually. I hope.
Yep.
Well, Scott, is that it?
Yep.
That you're going on vacation? Okay. Well, I will end the broadcast. I don't know. In terms of stay tuned for something I'm up to. I'll be sharing stuff on Tumblr that I did for this in-world job, and I will share my 4 little doodles I did tonight, as usual, on my Tumblr thing, and have a link on Twitter where I'll try not to be such a big blowhard. One guy has really, yeah, and his last name is Ellis, and he has really reacted strongly to a few things I've posted. And so we've had this long thing back and forth where it's like each of us challenging the other's cognitive dissonance, I guess, because he goes on and on about how idiotic Trump people are, and I try to zing him back with this and that, but there's no point in it. You do not win on the internet, So I hope I'm that smart this evening. Don't waste any time on Twitter.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, we'll see you, Scott. Or no, we'll see everybody that joined us tonight. Everybody that showed up.
Okay.
Bye-bye.